Erin Paterson, the Mushroom Murderer. On the 7th of July 2025, a significant chapter in Australian legal history concluded with the conviction of Erin Paterson for the murder of 3 relatives and the attempted murder of a 4th, a case which has gripped Australia and garnered international attention. Known as the Mushroom Killer, owing to the method of the alleged crime, Patterson's trial unfolded over nearly 2 years, culminating in a unanimous guilty verdict delivered by a Supreme Court jury in Victoria, Australia. The case originated on the 29th of July 2023 in Leongatha, a quiet town in Victoria's Gippsland region, approximately 135 kilometres southeast of Melbourne. Erin Paterson, a 50-year-old mother of 2, hosted a lunch at her home, inviting her estranged husband Simon Patterson's parents, Don and Gail Patterson, along with Gail's sister Heather Wilkinson and her husband Ian Wilkinson. The meal featured individual beef Wellington pastries, a dish Patterson claimed was her first attempt at cooking, intended as a special gesture. However, within hours, all 4 guests fell ill with severe gastrointestinal symptoms, leading to their hospitalization. Over the following week, Don, Gail, and Heather succumbed to multiple organ failure caused by Amanita phalloides, commonly known as death cap mushrooms, while Ian survived after weeks in intensive care. The incident sent shockwaves through Leongatha's close-knit community, prompting a swift police investigation. Patterson was arrested in November 2023 and charged with 3 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. Initial speculations suggested a motive tied to her deteriorating marriage with Simon, separated since 2015, but no definitive reason was immediately clear. The case's unusual nature, poisoning via a home-cooked meal, combined with Patterson's initial denials, fueled media frenzy and public intrigue, setting the stage for a high-profile trial. The trial commenced on the 29th of April 2025 at the Latrobe Valley Magistrates Court in Morwell, presided over by Justice Christopher Beale. Initially expected to last 6 weeks, it extended to 11 weeks, owing to the complexity of evidence and testimony, concluding with the verdict on the 7th of July. The jury, comprising 12 members with 3 reserves, was tasked with determining whether Patterson deliberately poisoned her guests, or if the incident was an accidental tragedy. Prosecutor Nanette Rogers SC outlined a case built on circumstantial evidence, alleging 4 calculated deceptions. First, Patterson fabricated a cancer diagnosis to lure the guests, a claim later disproven by medical records. Second, she allegedly prepared individual beef Wellingtons laced with death cap mushrooms, ensuring her portion was untainted. Third, she feigned illness to align with her guests' symptoms. And fourth, she engaged in a cover-up by disposing of a food dehydrator and lying to the police. Key evidence included CCTV footage of Patterson discarding the dehydrator on the 2nd of August 2023 and photos on her tablet of mushrooms resembling death caps. Medical testimony from Professor Andrew Bernstein confirmed Patterson showed no signs of mushroom poisoning, contradicting her claims of sickness. The defence, led by Colin Mandy SC, countered that the poisoning was a terrible accident, caused by a mix-up of foraged and store-bought mushrooms. Patterson testified for 8 days, admitting to lying about her cancer diagnosis, attributing it to embarrassment over planned weight loss surgery and her foraging hobby, which she said developed during the COVID-19 pandemic. She claimed panic after Simon accused her of poisoning, leading to the dehydrator's disposal out of fear of losing custody of her children. The defence highlighted 18 years of anti-motive evidence, emphasising her positive relationship with the victims, who were her children's only living grandparents. The trial featured over 50 witnesses, providing a detailed picture of the events. Ian Wilkinson, the sole survivor, testified about the lunch, recalling Patterson's cancer revelation and a brief prayer, unaware of the impending tragedy. Simon Patterson described his parents' deteriorating condition in hospital and his decision to skip the lunch due to discomfort, a choice that may have saved his life. Anna Terrington, the Pattersons' daughter, noted the unusual invitation of the Wilkinsons, hinting at a premeditation, though she confirmed a Australian dollars 400,000 loan from Erin and Simon, suggesting financial tension. Forensic evidence was pivotal. Traces of amatoxins, the lethal toxins in death caps, were detected in the beef Wellington leftovers recovered from Patterson's bin. Darren Canty, a waste management operative, provided CCTV evidence of the dehydrator's disposal, while Dr. Mark Douglas detailed the victim's similar poisoning symptoms. Patterson's inconsistent accounts, claiming mushrooms from Woolworths, an Asian grocer, then admitting foraging, undermined her credibility. Her children's testimony, relayed via a child protection practitioner, revealed their dislike of Simon, adding a layer of family discord. The prosecution argued intent was evident in Patterson's actions, researching mushrooms, preparing individual portions, and covering her tracks. Rogers emphasised that motive was not required for a guilty verdict, focusing on the act itself. The defence, however, leaned on the lack of motive, suggesting the incident resulted from Patterson's novice foraging error, exacerbated by panic. Mandy urged the jury to consider reasonable doubt, noting lying does not inherently prove guilt. Justice Beale reinforced this in his final directions on June the 30th. Beale instructed the jury to assess 4 elements: whether Patterson caused the deaths, did so deliberately, intended to kill or cause serious injury, and lacked lawful justification. The jury's sequestration during deliberation underscored the case's sensitivity, with daily sessions from 10:30 a.m. until 4:15 p.m. until the verdict. After 6 days of deliberation, the jury returned a unanimous guilty verdict. As the verdicts were read, Patterson remained emotionless, staring at the jury. She faces life imprisonment, with sentencing to be determined later. Victoria Police acknowledged the jury's decision, expressing support for the Patterson and Wilkinson families, who requested privacy. The conviction marked a rare instance of a poisoning case in Australia, drawing comparisons to historical trials, but standing out for its domestic context. The established narrative hinges on circumstantial evidence, raising questions about its robustness. The prosecution's case lacked a clear motive, relying on Patterson's deceptions as proof of intent. Her lies about cancer, foraging, and the dehydrator could stem from panic or shame rather than guilt, as the defence argued. The absence of direct evidence, such as a confession or witnesses to the act, left room for doubt. Patterson's foraging hobby, common in the region, supports the accidental ingestion theory, yet her knowledge of mushrooms and the selective poisoning, sparing her children, suggests potential intent. Media coverage and public sentiment, amplified by ex post labelling her a brazen liar and heartless killer, could have influenced perceptions. The trial's length and the judge's exemption of jurors from future jury for 15 years reflects its complexity and emotional toll. Alternative interpretations, accidental poisoning covered up due to fear, were overshadowed by the prosecution's narrative, possibly due to the dramatic nature of the case. She is yet to be sentenced, and her conviction closes a chapter on something that was both tragic, intriguing, and subject to considerable legal scrutiny. But in light of this conviction, where a jury has found that she has murdered 3 people and attempted to murder a 4th, what is Erin Paterson? Is she an individual who is a pathological liar, who had no emotional empathy for family members and wanted them dead, irrespective of the fact that no discernible motive could be ascertained? Might her motive have been one of stimulation? Might her motive been of one of thrill-seeking? Might her motive been of one of control? All factors that were not necessarily considered, but would point to the possibility that Erin Paterson might be a narcissist or a psychopath. Is it a case that this was a lonely woman who was just seeking attention? Might there be a suggestion of what used to be called Munchausen syndrome by proxy? Although there are those, your glorious narrator included, that determines that many of those individuals, not all, are actually narcissists seeking fuel and control. Was it simply an honest mistake, even though this is not found to be the case by the jury? Did she actually intend to poison them but not to kill, and it went too far? Might that give us some insight as to what she might be? Certainly, the circumstances of this interesting case and the fact that she has now been convicted, therefore it's been determined that she intended to kill all four, succeeding in relation to three of them, presents us with an opportunity to consider the life of Erin Paterson and her behaviours to answer the question, what is she? Empath, narcissist, or something else? Join me in the next part as she is subjected to the scrutiny of the Tudor scope.